And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I am Michael DeLon, and today I am talking with Ashley Chamberlain. Now, Ashley, first of all, thank you for spending some time with me and being my guest today.
Oh, it's such an honor. Thank you so much for having me, Michael.
You are welcome. It's going to be it's going to be a profitable conversation. Let me put it that way. So Ashley runs a company, Chamberlain and Good Company, and she is not just a bookkeeper, but she's a fractional chief financial officer as well for small to mid-sized businesses. And we're going to talk today about how to grow your business by the numbers, because if most of my audience are like me, we really don't want to deal with the numbers. We just like to bring them in because we're idea people, but we really desperately need people like you. So actually, as we jump into this whole conversation, tell me, how in the world did you get doing what you're doing today?
It's pretty black and white for lack of better terms.
Just like
I have
money.
always just like the money, just like the numbers. I have always been drawn to the facts. I've always been just really good at math, and I never really knew what that would mean growing up. So I found myself drawn to working with people. So as
Mhm.
a person in high school, I thought I want to be a teacher because I just love working with people. Quickly found out in my college years that maybe it's not kids I want to work with. Maybe it's just other adults. So I leaned into the accounting, started working with small business owners in a different dynamic. And once I got to a position at a small business in the construction industry, I was a controller, and I
Mhm.
was a pretty young controller in that industry. I found myself asking the question, "What's next?" So, and I never thought I would get there. I thought I would constantly be going towards the controller position. So once I asked myself what's next, I thought, let's start a business because who doesn't like starting over? So that's what brought me to where I am today. And it has been such a blessing to be able to teach people what it means to really know their numbers and grow like I have.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the journey. I love hearing the
Mm-hmm.
story that different business owners have. So let's just dive in and talk about growing a business by the numbers. You know, so many business owners, their focus tends to be that top line revenue. I'm trying to hit to a 7-figure business or a 6-figure or whatever, but they're not managing the dollars. They're not really thinking about the profit, and they're working like crazy because, and I think a lot of it's because, well, quite honestly, we don't like the numbers, right? I don't, it makes my brain hurt when people start throwing around things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the struggles that you see a lot of business owners face, especially maybe before they
Mm-hmm.
come to you. What's going on in life? What are they frustrated about and things?
Sure. So, a lot of business owners, you start a business because you're passionate about something. You're good at something. You want to help people with something. It is normally not necessarily money driven. You're not starting a business because you think, I'm going to be a millionaire in 30 days. You start a business because you're really good at making t shirts. You're really good at writing books. And all you can think is, I'm just going to do this thing I'm really good at, and then you start making money and you think, well, as long as I'm making money, it seems like it's going well. Well, then you start incurring expenses and you aren't looking at the breakdown of how that looks. So you have money coming in, what's going out, and then what are you left with? Some people forget that what your business is profiting isn't what's coming in, it's what's left at the bottom. And there
Right.
are a lot of things that go into that. It's the expenses, which includes payroll, it can include insurance, it includes taxes. That stuff isn't necessarily sexy to talk about, but you don't know if you're growing if you don't know that bottom number.
Right. And that's so important because so many people say, well, I've got, I'm running a business, but are you really? Are you working
Mm-hmm.
for that, in our company? I mean, net profit's the number we focus on. We focus on
Mm-hmm.
revenue, top line as well, but we're also very cognizant of everything in between. And so many times, like my son's my chief financial officer as well as chief operating officer. But he'll come to me sometimes. He's like, "Hey, Daddy, do you still need this 1995 monthly support thing that you?" And I'm like, "What is it?" Right? I bought something a year and a half ago, never used it. It's still dinging every month.
Mm-hmm.
Little things like that start adding up.
Oh yeah.
But to really leverage your business for growth and position yourself, you've
Yep.
got to have a good handle on the numbers. How do you work with business owners and entrepreneurs who, I mean, we're idea people. We are running after that next thing, but
Yeah.
just explain a little bit about how you work with us to go, okay, I got this half of the business. You take care of that half.
Yeah. So a lot of entrepreneurs are the vision holders. You know, you are the visionary. So which means sometimes you have that shiny object syndrome. So you think this sounds good now and that sounds good tomorrow, and you just move from thing to thing. And it's really hard to hold the vision in one place when it comes to the numbers. So you have the vision holder, you got to have the person that keeps you grounded. So for the entrepreneur that we work with, we say, we start with saying, what are your goals? What are the most important things to you? We even in the same conversation say, what do you want your ideal day to look like? Do you, and it can range. It can say, we can say, do you want to work 8 to 10 hour days? Or do you want to work 3 to 4 hours Monday through Thursday? And that can mean different things to different people. People have different priorities. Some people want to work 7 days a week. Some people want to work 3 days a week. So that really helps us determine what do they want their expenses to look like. Because if
Mhm.
they are someone that wants to work 7 days a week, they are really, really money oriented, money driven, goal driven. If they're someone that just wants to have a really decent living, they want to just kind of get by, that makes a difference too. So
Yeah.
let's go through the financials. Let's see, are you using a software that maybe you don't need? That
Yeah.
maybe you have a different CRM that we can use that CRM and combine some of these things and get rid of these other softwares. People have a lot of individual things and they're paying different subscriptions for. They just don't know because they're just moving forward and they have their blinders on and they don't have someone looking at their entire picture. And it's
Right.
hard when you're just grinding. You need someone to look at all of the things. What are all of the expenses coming out? And I get it. It was hard in the beginning to feel like, what's the most important thing? Because for me, I thought, oh, I can't start a business without a website. I can't start a business without business cards or t-shirts. There were all these expenses. You know, looking back, I didn't need any of that to start a business.
That's
It was
right.
not the most important thing. It was something that kept me from getting started, but you know, it was expenses that maybe I didn't need in the beginning. So you need someone to tell you, no, you don't need these expenses yet, you're not ready.
Yeah.
So
Well, and the other aspect is a lot of times business owners, especially in the first few years, they've bought into the myth, dare I say, that more revenue equals more profit. And not that that's wrong, but what we have found is as we've got a hold of our finances better, we operate on profit first and EOS, is that sometimes I can increase my net profit without increasing gross revenue because I know where the money is. Do you find
mhm.
that's true in lots of businesses?
It is. It's and it's different industries, you know, different money. So it, I'll say construction. We work with a lot of construction,
Okay.
and we have to really look at job costing for them. So they have to be careful with, they get a lot of bonds. They work with a thing called a whip. So a whip is when we look at jobs, we want to make sure that we're not underbilling and we're not overbilling. We got to find that sweet spot. Where can we make sure we're making just enough money to not have to raise our taxes, because we don't want that tax liability to go up, then we're paying more money, but we still want to actually make more money. So
Yeah.
there is a balance, you know, to make more money by not increasing your liability. It's
Yes.
finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
It can get tricky.
Well, it can, and there are I'm sure nuances in all of that that
Mhm,
an inexperienced business owner who a business owner who's not as experienced in finance
mhm,
would not understand, would not know. And that's the value of bringing somebody like Ashley on board to say, help me understand this. Or better yet, you go figure it all out and bring me an executive summary, right? Because you like to function kind of on that level. You're not a vendor that just go do, but you want to kind of more, I don't know if I want to say the partner word, but really lock arms with your client to say, how do we help
Right.
you achieve those goals, keep you where you need to go, and grow the business? Is that fair?
Right. Well, it is because it's a hand-holding thing. So we have to be on the same page. We have the same goals that you do. When we come in, that's why we ask so many questions. It's a courting phase. We want to know, where do you want to go? Because that's where we want to go. And we meet with our clients once a quarter to make sure that we're still on the same page, because businesses change and there are so many things in the IRS, in all financial statutes that are constantly changing. And there would be no way that I would expect all of our clients, all business owners, to keep up with that. And sometimes there are things that I can't wait to tell our clients about. I can't wait to tell you about this new grant that came out. I can't wait to tell you about this way to save money, or this way to maybe move this money around, or things to help them save, to make them get more money back in their own pockets. Those are the exciting parts of it.
Yeah. Did y'all hear that? She gets excited by all that, which is good because entrepreneurs and things don't. We're like, can I just go meet with somebody
Yeah.
and sell something, please?
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing of that partnership, that hand holding, is that Ashley gets to do all this work that she loves, bring you in a probably a one meeting, scenario. Go, here's what's going on, here's where you are, but here's what we should probably do. And then you, as the entrepreneur, the vision catcher, go, okay, I get that. Let's go that way. Can you go make it happen? Okay. And we it's funny, we chuckle, we laugh, but so many business owners don't think about any of this, and they're trying to do it all themselves because they
Mhm.
really think, I think they think running a business is like having a checkbook. Money comes in, money goes out. Money comes in, money goes
Mhm.
out. And yes,
Yep.
at the rudimentary level, but there's so much more to it that allows you to leverage those dollars in the interim and really
Mhm.
provide a solid foundation for your business, more security, greater opportunities, and more growth. Is that
It
kind of
is.
how you vision as you work with people?
It is. It is. I know that different industries feel that roller coaster. I myself, especially in the beginning, it was a roller coaster. One day I feel like, man, I am just on cloud nine. I love being a business owner. It's a Friday afternoon and I get to do whatever I want. And then the next day I'm like, man, I want to burn it all down because this is the hardest job in the whole world. And I like to be there for my clients, for my community, for those moments, because I understand 100% what that feels like. It can feel very lonely. It can feel like no one understands how hard it is to
Mhm.
have this job, because it still feels like a job most of the time. And it feels like you have to be the chief decision maker and you're just trying to get through it, which is why in different industries, so construction is one, but even so we have a lot of the e-commerce industry, the online sales industries, the t-shirt shops, the jewelry shops. They have a lonely world too, because their sales are online. They don't get to interact with the people in
Right.
person. So sometimes our chats, while I get excited to talk to them, they might not get excited to talk about
Right.
accounting. But it's exciting when we get on our Zoom or we get on the phone, and they're getting to tell me about the stuff that they're doing. Like, hey, we just got to go to a festival, and we just got to go to this vendor booth. And so they get to kind of tell me what they're doing and get out those exciting wins to their accountant. Like, who would
Yeah.
have known your
Right.
friend would be your accountant? And that's what's so fun about it. Like,
Yeah.
we get to be here for the wins too.
That's good. And as you walk through somebody, as you're working with Ashley, because she's fractional, so she's not there all the time. It's much more cost effective for a small business owner to do it this way. But it also allows you as the business owner to really stay focused on what you do best. And then you meet with Ashley and her team on a regular basis to get a better understanding, to get some counsel, some insight, and go, okay, this is where I need to go. Or, thinking about, I'm a construction company, I need to buy another truck. Well, why don't you ask Ashley first? Okay, Ashley, here's what I'm wanting to do. How should I buy that truck, or when? And that's what the brilliance of somebody who understands numbers and taxes and all that can say, you know what, yeah, let's do that. Or no, let's wait another quarter because of this, and that, or whatever. it
Hmm.
keeps you out of a lot of trouble. It keeps you from paying what I learned from Keith Cunningham called the dumb tax, which means when you make decisions and it just costs you lots of money because you did the wrong thing. You always, my CPA is brilliant. And he told me, he says, Michael, you always, before you make any decision, always, your first call is always to your tax accountant. Always. Yes, Bob, I will do that.
Yep.
But it saved me from doing dumb things. And he's like, yeah,
Hmm.
you don't want to do that. You want to do it this way. Okay, great. That's
Yep.
how Ashley can work with you and your team, is to help you really stay focused on what you do best. And that's how business is going to grow, because you're going to get more clients. But she's going to help you grow
Hmm.
your business by managing those dollars and making good informed decisions.
Hmm.
It's not just money goes from A to B or the top to the bottom. There's a circuitous route in there, and there may be things to do with those monies in the interim that will really
Sure.
help you as a business owner. So
Yeah.
that's why I love what people like you do. It's fractional. You don't have to hire a chief financial officer. You hire Ashley. She comes in, helps you understand where you're going. That's kind of how it works, right?
Sure. Yeah. And sometimes people think it means, some people you're just not ready for an in-house CFO. And that doesn't mean that your business is anything less than. It
Right.
just means you need a CFO. Your business is not big enough for it, but you still need that position. And so it's just like you said. It's funny you said buying a vehicle, because that's probably the most asked question we get
Yes.
is, should I buy? And it's usually in the last quarter of the year.
Yep.
Should I buy a vehicle now, or should I wait till January? And that's so, it feels so good that they ask that, because it's not the same for every single client. And it feels like we get to tell them a very responsible, informed decision, and then they can just go about their day. And that's why we say, on our website, it felt a little sassy to say it this way, but we say, just let us mind the books so you can go and mind your business. Like, you can stay in your zone of genius, keep doing what you like to do, and we'll do what you consider the boring stuff. Keep you informed, keep going.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting, a lot of people think, well, I don't have a real business until I have an on-site full-time CFO and a COO. And I don't think that's true at all. I think some of the most profitable businesses use fractional team members on a long-term basis. So you function like a real employee who's there all the time. You
Mhm.
just know the business so well that in a fraction of the time and a fraction of the investment for you, um,
Mhm.
it makes all the difference in the world. So don't buy into, well, my company's not big enough. There might be a certain size, but it's probably a lot lower on the gross
Yep.
revenue scale than most people think. So I think what I want to challenge people is, if you're doing everything yourself, or you and your virtual assistant are trying to run the whole thing, you need to pause and reach out to Ashley and have a conversation and go, here's where I am. Am I even close to needing somebody like you? What does that even look like? And and begin a dialogue. And she may say, yeah, you're not ready yet, but let's have another call in 6 months or something. Well, that's okay.
Mhm.
At least so don't stick your head in the sand like an ostrich, but take some action and reach out to Ashley. And Ashley, how would they do that? What's the best place for them to go to find more about you, your company, and if that would be a good fit?
Sure. So, we do have a. I did end up getting the website. I did end up doing the website, and that's just chamberlainandgoodcompany.com. We've got beautiful pictures and lots of information about myself and the team, what we do on there. And there's a contact form you can fill out. It goes to myself and my assistant. You can also find us on Facebook. We're pretty active on Facebook, and LinkedIn. But like you said, just we can have a conversation. I always tell people, if you are on the fence, maybe you feel nervous to you feel like having a conversation with an accountant feels so official, like you're not ready, then do a time audit on yourself. If you find yourself spending more than a few hours a week on accountant like things, just reach out. We provide a free strategy call. We call it a strategy because we're going to get something done. We're
Right.
going to have value in here. And just reach out with an email, with a message on Facebook, and we can have a chat.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to get the website and everything in the show notes, because entrepreneurs are busy. They're listening to this on the run or whatever.
Mhm.
But dude, seriously, reach out to Ashley. find out what they're about. How you can obviously tell she's not your typical, CPA and CFO because she actually talks and smiles and laughs. Love you guys. So, but seriously, reach out and have a conversation and see where is it, because I can tell you from firsthand experience, understanding the numbers has made a drastic difference in not just the profitability of our business, but the peace that we feel as a family running our company to know, if we have a bad month, we don't panic because we have money in a storehouse because we know the numbers and we know it's going to come back, right? So if you're not there, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you need to reach out to Ashley. But if you're growing a consistent, strong business, you need to reach out to Ashley, because there's money that you're leaving on the table that you don't even know about. Because those are the lenses that Ashley and her team look through, and she can really help you leverage your business and what you're doing without spending a ton of money or time. Let her manage the money while you manage your business. I love that line, Ashley. When I saw that on your website, I thought that's really good. So, Ashley, thank you. You're going to help lots of people grow their business by the numbers. I appreciate that. Thanks for adding so much value to my podcast and to the business community at large. Thank you for being my guest on Experts Speak.
Thank you so much, Michael.